Great, welcome. So thank you very much. And we have come together today because we all want to know more about what is the season of creation and what is the meaning of this theme, A Home for All, Renewing the Oikos of God. And Sister Delia and Sister Roxanne, they will do a fantastic job in sharing more of season of creation and the theme for this year. So I'd leave that surprise for you. But for those who may or may not know, the season of creation started this month on September the 1st, and it ends on the feast of St. Francis of Assisi, who is the patron saint for the environment, and that is on October the 4th. So each year as Franciscans, the Franciscan Institute invites children like yourselves to celebrate the season of creation with us in a very special way. We have created a season of creation challenge for you to share your ideas, and for those who have seen before, you were seeing some videos on students who have participated in the past. They did singing, they did a little arts or drawing, in Grenada, they did a lovely eco-brick project. So these are ways that you can participate for this season of creation challenge. And we are inviting you and encouraging you to participate. And this is a way we can all help to protect our earth as God has asked us to take care of it. So the theme for this year is A Home for All, Renewing the Oikos of God. We have two very special guests who are going to teach us more. And I would like to introduce you to Sister Delia Monrose and Sister Roxanne Neckles. And they are sisters from this congregation of the Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother, and they live in the country of Grenada. So welcome, sisters, and I hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Annalisa. Thank you so much again, and good evening to one and all, especially our boys and girls who are logged on. It's happy to see you all, and thank you for sparing us this 1 hour of your time this afternoon. It's really a pleasure to be here with you. And as Annalisa explained, today we will be going through what the season of creation and the theme for this year. So before we go further into the presentation on the theme, I would just like to explain a little bit what is the season of creation, especially for some of you who may be hearing about this for the first time. And it is always good for us, for those of us who have heard it before, to refresh our memory. So as Annalisa stated in the beginning, the season of creation is a month-long celebration, which began on the 1st of September and will end on the 4th of October, the feast of St. Francis of Assisi. And those of us who are Catholic may know very well the St. Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of ecology. He had a great love for all of God's creation, including human beings and all the animals and all the elements of creation. And he did everything in his power to care for them. And so that's why he's recognized today as the patron saint of all of creation. And so the season of creation, it is known as a season because it is not a one-day celebration, but a month-long celebration. And it is celebrated by Christians worldwide. And the whole idea of the season of creation is to help raise awareness among ourselves of the need to take better care for Mother Earth, the gift that God has given to us. And so we are invited during this month-long celebration to pay particular attention to our relationship with the rest of creation. How do we treat with the earth? What are the things that are we doing that are helpful? And what are the things that we are doing that are not so helpful, that are damaging the environment and that we need to stop doing? And so during this month, we are joined not just by Catholics, but by Christians the world over. So a number of Christian denominations come together to celebrate this season of creation. And each year, as the celebration continues, more and more Christian denominations continues to join in the celebration. And so each year we have a theme, and we're reminded of the need to renew our relationship with the earth. And for those of us when we were much younger, if you recall, our parents, or mostly our mommies, would have always remind us of the need to brush our teeth. And they would constantly, every night or every morning, remind us of the need to do it. Now we are much older, they no longer need to tell us, right? Because we know that we have to do it, and we understand the reason why we have to brush our teeth, for good hygiene and for bright smiles and so forth. And so that is why every year during the season of creation, we are reminded of the need to care for the earth, so that sooner or later it will become a part of us. And we'll all adopt positive relationship that will help benefit the earth. So every year we are reminded during this time to take better care of the earth. So if we know we like to just throw away our candy wrappers and our snack papers without putting it in a bin, then we know this is harmful for the environment. So we're reminded to stop that practice. If we know we like to ill-treat our animals and pets, we're reminded, oh no, it's now to take better care for our pets. Make sure they are fed, make sure they have their bath, they are dewormed. If we like to litter on the beach, we're reminded not to, because the plastics, all the litter goes into the ocean, and it affects the marine life, the fishes. And so that is what every year we are reminded through the season of creation to do. And hopefully, both myself and yours, we the older ones and you the younger ones, it will become part of us, so that we do not, even though we do not hear it, we know that this is the right thing to do. And so this is why we celebrate what is called the season of creation. And every year we celebrate the season of creation under a particular theme. And the theme for this year is renewing the Oikos of God, a home for all. So, and then I will now turn you over to Sister Delia, who will take us through on explaining for us the theme.
Thank you, Sister Roxanne. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, especially to our children who are here. It is good. It's a wonderful moment just to have you with us as we share with you. A home for all, renewing the Oikos of God. What really is the Oikos of God? The Oikos of God. Oikos is a Greek word. It is not an English word, but it means home. The Oikos of God means God's home. The earth is God's home, and the earth is our home. So God has created the earth so that we can live in it. We can enjoy the things of the earth. And God did not put us only human beings, boys and girls, men and women on the earth, but God placed so many different things on the earth. Whatever God placed on the earth, God placed these things there, and God placed us there so that we can enjoy God's home. So now I want you to remember, every time you hear the word oikos, remember it means home. And when we think of home, we think of a place where persons can enjoy each other. We think home of a place where other persons can come and feel happy, where there's hospitality. Home is a place where we have many different persons living. Mother, father, grandfather, only mother, only father with children. We have uncles, we have aunts in our home. And whenever there is a home, each person has a particular role to play in the home. Some persons, you are responsible for putting out the garbage. Another person is responsible for washing the dishes. Another one is responsible for baking the bread. Another one is responsible for going out into the garden and to ensure that everybody has something to eat. So a home is a place of security, a place where you can find things to enjoy, and you can also enjoy people. So I want you to look at the earth, God's home, as a place for us to enjoy. But we do know that sometimes in a home, things happen and we are either upset and we do not enjoy that home. Just as sometimes at your home, things happen and some persons do not enjoy the home. The same thing happens with God's home. We have done things in God's home on the earth and God is not happy about it. So I want us to all remember that the earth as God's home as we move on. Let us look at some of the things and the persons who form part of God's home. And I am going to pose questions. As I go through them, I want you to listen to the questions and ask the questions in your hearts. I'm showing you Stacy, someone who does not have a home, and she lives on the streets. She lives there, people would pass by, they would drop a few coins. Some persons would greet her and some will not. Some persons may just laugh at her or hit her and move on, and they jeer at her. So Stacy now is asking the question, and she's saying, I live on the streets. My name is Stacy. Do I belong to God's home? Why are people treating me like I do not belong to God's home? Why are they treating me badly? Why can't people offer me kindness and love? Why can't someone give me shelter or a meal every day? Because I have lost my job, I'm on the street and I have nothing to do. Do you think Stacy belongs to God's home? I am a dog. My name is Joey. I am looking at you right now. Do I really belong to God's home? Sometimes at my home, I am fed, and sometimes I am not given any food. Sometimes people kick me in the streets. Sometimes I'm happy and sometimes I'm sad. Do I belong to God's home? How do you really treat Joy? How do you treat your pets? Do you treat them like they belong to God's home? Joey has a part to play. Joey protects you. Joey protects us. Joey brings joy. Can we help Joey to feel that he really belongs to God's home? I am a mango tree laden with juicy mangoes. I call myself Sweetie. Do I really belong to God's home? Do you enjoy me? Or do you pass around when I have no fruits? You stone me, you just cut my branches for no reason? Or do you just pick my fruits, enjoy and share with others who do not have? I am a fish. I call myself Spotted. Do I belong to God's home? I live in the ocean. And sometimes I see strange things in the ocean. And when I eat on them, they seem to be like plastics. They don't taste like food. I cough. I get sick. I want to belong to God's home. So what can you do to help me to really belong to God's home? Can you help me to enjoy life and to enjoy the ocean? Help me to feel that I really belong to God's home. I am the Grenadian dove. I fly everywhere. I peck at fruits. I bring joy to persons. I am beautiful. Do I belong to God's home? Do you stone me and you make me feel that this is not my home? Or do you just wave at me, admire me, and say, this is a beautiful dove. Welcome. You are part of God's family. You are in God's home and you are safe with us. I am an iguana. Do you know an iguana? Many Caribbean islands have iguanas. I call myself Silky. Do I belong to God's home? Some persons hunt me and they eat me. Sometimes when it is off season and I'm not supposed to be hunted, persons still do that. Some Caribbean islands, I am almost extinct. My numbers have reduced, and very soon we will all my brothers and sisters will die out. But yet I am beautiful. How can you help me to feel that I belong to God's home? How can you admire me and protect me? How can you help me do not cut down, stop cutting down the bushes where I love to live and I love to eat the sweet grass? When you cut down all the grass and you leave me where the trees have nothing, there is no greenery, I feel sad and I don't feel that I belong to God's home. So help me to really feel that I belong to God's home. I am a monkey. I call myself Mo. Do you think I belong to God's home? Persons, they can pet me. I love to play tricks and I enjoy people. I love to swing and to move from one branch to the next. I bring joy to children in the forest, wherever they see me. But sometimes people stone me and they hit me with sticks, and I feel like I don't belong. Children, help me. Help me to feel that I really belong to God's home. I have pretty eyes. Look at my beautiful colors. I want to belong. I want to be part of God's family. Help me. I am a serpent. I call myself Slowy. Some of you are looking at me and you feel scared. You begin to shiver. Some of you probably want to close your eyes because I don't want to see a serpent. I don't want to see a snake. But some of you are okay with it. You are okay looking at me. Sometimes when I am seeing people just kill, they kill my brothers and sisters because we are serpents and people believe we have no place in God's home. But we do have a place in God's home. Some of us look just like me. Some look prettier. We've not prettier, but some have different colors. Do you feel that I belong to God's home? Yes, God created me, and I think I have a place here. Help me to feel that I belong to God's home. I am Concord Waterfall, and there are many waterfalls over in the Caribbean. Water flowing, cool, fresh. It goes down, flows into the river, and people can come and have a lovely swim. People admire me and listen to the sound that I make. Do you help me to feel that I belong to God's home and I'm part of God's family? Do you throw garbage in me and make me sad and make God sad? Or do you allow me to be clean and allow people to enjoy my freshness and my beauty? Help me to feel that I really belong to God's home. My name is Bathway. I am a lovely beach, and the sea, the ocean is so beautiful. And people come and they enjoy a lovely swim. They have beach parties near me. Sometimes people gather their garbage and they go home with it, and sometimes people just leave the garbage and it goes into, it comes all inside of me, and it destroys all the life within me. Do you really feel that I belong to God's home? You have to help me. There are many ways you can help me to remain clean so that God can continue to smile and say, yes, this beach and the ocean, you are really part of me, and people are really taking care of you. You belong to me. Let us now listen to the Genesis story from the book of Genesis so that we could really understand what God has created, the things that God has placed in God's home, the thing God has placed on the earth to make us happy, and so that we can make the things and the animals happy, and so that we can belong to one happy family, the Oikos of God and God's home. So let us listen to the story of creation.
God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was empty, formless, and dark. But the Spirit of God was there. On the first day, God said, "Let there be light." And God saw that the light was good. Then he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day and the darkness night. On the second day, God said, "Let there be a space to separate the waters of the heavens from the waters of the earth." God called the space sky. On the third day, God said, "Let the waters beneath the sky flow together into one place, so dry ground may appear." God called the dry ground land and the waters seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the land sprout with every sort of plant and tree." And God saw that it was good. On the fourth day, God said, "Let lights appear in the sky to separate the day from the night." God made two great lights, the sun for the day and the moon for the night. He also made the stars. God set these lights in the sky to light the earth, and God saw that it was good. On the fifth day, God said, "Let the waters swarm with fish and other life. Let the skies be filled with birds of every kind." And God saw that it was good. On the sixth day, God said, "Let the earth make every sort of animal." God made all sorts of wild animals, livestock, and small animals, each able to have babies of the same kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, to be like us." So God created man in his own image. He formed man from the dust of the ground. He breathed the breath of life into man, and a man became alive. Then he saw that the man needed a helper, so God put man into a deep sleep, and while he slept, God took one of the man's ribs. Then God made a woman from the rib and brought her to the man.
Hi.
Then God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and rule over it. Rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground." Then God said, "Look, I have given you every plant throughout the earth, and all the fruit trees for your food, and I have given you every green plant as food for all the animals." Then God looked over all he had made, and he saw that it was very good. So the creation of the heavens and the earth and everything in them was done. So on the seventh day, God rested from all his work, and God blessed the seventh day and said it was holy.
I hope as you watch this video, you realize that everything God placed on the earth, the Oikos of God, God's home, God said that it was good. He saw everything as good. So all the different animals and the places that I showed you, and the lady who lives on the street, all those things, places, and person, and everybody belongs to God's home. God created everything. And you heard what God said? God placed the man and the woman. God placed all of us right there in his home so that we can take care of people. We can be kind to people. We can be loving to people. We can be kind to the animals. We can be kind to all living things, and we can be very considerate when we go to the beaches and the rivers, when we walk the streets, so that we will not drop things and garbage and pollute the place. God wants us to take care of his home because everything there is good. And we are good. So now I want to show you just a few slides where you can see the beauty that God created and some things that we did to show that, no, you are not part of God's home. So let us just look at a few slides, and then we could ask ourselves, what really can we do so that we can renew? Remember, the theme is renewing the Oikos of God. Renewing the Oikos of God, renewing God's home means that we are trying to do the right things so that everyone will be able to enjoy the beauty of the earth. So look at this picture. What can we do to renew the beaches in God's home? Look at a beautiful beach. This is how God created the beach and the ocean, and God said, it is good. Look at B, and look at what we have done. I'm sure you have seen that in your islands. You have gone to the beach and you see ropes and plastics and pieces of buckets and all different things. I want to ask you, what happens to those things? And when we get a chance towards the end, you can share. What happens? These things, they are washed into the ocean and they kill all the living things in the ocean. What can you do, children, to renew the beaches in God's home? What can you do to make the beaches look so beautiful that everybody can feel happy just being there? Let us now look at somewhere else. We are now going to look at the forest. In A, you see the forest looking so beautiful, the mountains, it is so green. I want you to look at B. What has happened there? You can see trees cut down. What will eventually happen to the other trees? The same thing will happen. Very soon, there will be no forest. If we have the green, that is how we get the rain to water the earth and also to give us water to drink and to do other things. I want you to ask yourselves, children, what can we do? What can you do as a child to renew the forest, to renew the environment so that it can remain just as green as A, where God created it and said, it is good? What can you do as a child? God created these fishes in the ocean. And they are so beautiful. If you look at them, they look so pretty. And they are enjoying each other in A. Look at B. Can you see what is happening there? The fishes are dead. They are dead because something poisonous was placed in the water. What is going to happen if all fishes die? We won't have fishes. You won't have fishes to put in your tank at home, your fish tank at home. You won't have fishes to enjoy. So what can we do? What can you do as children to take care of the fishes so that they will remain just as it is in A, where God created them and said, wow, these fishes are good? How can you as children help us to renew the ocean, part of God's home? We are the ones God placed on the earth to take care of all living things. The birds, all the animals, the trees, the oceans, the rivers. We have to live in love with each other. We have to live with togetherness. We have to live in a way in unity, and we have to have that one mind to take care of God's home. But even before we could do that, we need to remember that we have to love ourselves, we have to love God, and we have to love each other. Children, do you look at people, for example, an older man, an elderly man, or an elderly woman? When you walk down the streets, do you greet them? In your homes, when you have the elderly in your homes, do you have deep respect for your grandparents, your great-grandparents? When you do that, when you show respect, when you obey your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and you are respectful to all adults around you, you are bringing joy to their hearts, and you are bringing joy to the people who live in God's home. And anytime we bring joy to others, we bring joy to God. When you pass someone on the street and the person is either sleeping, the person is begging. As a child, what do you do? Do you look at the person scornfully, or do you pass the other way? Is there something you can do as a child to help this person? Have you ever thought of asking your parents to help you to feed persons who are hungry, who live on the street? There are children who live on the streets as well, in the Caribbean and in other parts of the world. Children, we have to begin thinking of that. What can we do to bring joy to homeless people, to the elderly, to people who are sick, to our parents, to our classmates? What can we do? When you look at the television, you go on the internet, you see many children and other persons who are happy, and some persons, they are very sad. There are children who are very sad because they have nothing to eat. Some of them have lost their parents. What can you do where you live as a child to bring joy to those persons, to bring joy to their hearts? Remember, whatever we do on this earth, planet Earth, we are doing it to God. The joy that we bring to others is the joy and love that we bring to God. The way that we take care of the things of the earth and everything God created tells a lot about how much we love and cherish God, how much we love and cherish God's home, the Oikos of God. I repeat again, the kindness that we show to people and all of creation will bring joy to God's heart. We plant a tree, we feed the homeless and the hungry, we clean up the garbage, put them in the right places. We show love to the elderly and other persons. God is happy, and God's home becomes a happy place. We are together with you, and that is what we are trying to help you do from today. Let us renew the Oikos of God. Let us renew God's home. Let us bring God's home back to when God said, yes, it is good, so that everyone can be happy. Everyone can live in peace. Children, I am asking you today, do something small in your home, at school and in your community to renew God's house, to renew God's home, our common home. Bring smiles to God's heart in everything that you do. Thank you.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my class. Today, we are going to talk about where we live. Did you know that we actually live on a planet in space? I know, right? It's so cool. Do you know the name of our planet? Very smart. Planet Earth. And do you know how many planet Earths we have? That is correct. Only one. And that is why it is so important that we respect the planet and we treat everyone and everything with kindness. Now, I am going to teach you a song that is about planet Earth. Let's see what we can do, save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do, save the planet for me
what we can do. Save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do. Save the planet for me and you. Age is for humans, that's what we are. If we work together, we can go so far. EARTH, planet Earth is a happy place. Na 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 na. Let's see what we can do. Save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do. Save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do. Save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do. Save the planet for me and you.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you very much, Sister Delia and Sister Roxanne. So Sister Delia and Sister Roxanne has really shared with us some powerful messages of what can we do, that question of what more can we do to renew God's home, what we can do, what you can do as a child, and what we can do all together. Because we can help Stacy, we can help Joey, we can help Silky, Sweetie, the Grenadian Dove, and there are so many more, the Concord Waterfall, and your home. So we have now reached this very fun time of asking the sisters. Let's open up our microphone and ask the sisters your questions. I see some very bright and happy faces this afternoon. So let's ask the sisters. So this is really lovely, sisters, and thank you each of you for sharing. And now that you know what is the season of creation all about, and that theme, a home for all, and how we can renew God's home, you can now prepare together with your class or your parents or your teachers a lovely art piece or drawing or song or poem and participate for the Season of Creation Challenge. And for those who want to see how that challenge looks like, it looks like really a presentation that you are sharing with us based on 5 categories called pollinators, marine life, family tree, building a home, and vegetation. And you can choose from one of these categories and submit your, whether it is a video, spoken word, poetry, art piece, essay, a photo, or PowerPoint presentation to your teachers or to your parents, and they can submit it to us. And the email is there for parents and teachers. Submit fi@gmail.com before September 23rd. So that is 11 days from now. So before the September the 23rd, you can submit your presentation or your piece. And all winners and participants will receive something. And we're inviting you, because this is it is taking place in different islands in the Caribbean, and you will be recognized at the St. Francis Canticle Creation Award Ceremony that is going to take place at the end of October, on Saturday, 23rd of October. And this is going to be on Zoom. So it's a specially invited event where you can participate and be recognized and really show your creativity on how you can renew your home, or what you can do to renew God's home and really help Stacy and Sweetie and Joey and more and Slowy. I love that idea, right? And I really want to encourage you to chat with Sister Delia, if you're going to her school together with Sister Roxanne, and they can help guide you to submit your entries to us and get it to us. So we have come to our sessions the end of our session for today. And I would like to share, on behalf of the Franciscan Institute and the Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother congregation, I would like to say a very special thank you to each and every one of you. I'm seeing beautiful faces and smiles today. And you have taken the time from your Sunday to come and listen to what we have to share with you. And I hope you have learned something. So on the chat, for those who know how to use the Zoom chat, you can share one word or something that stood out for you, right? So thank you to all our parents helping each and every one of your child join today, all our teachers who are here. And thank you especially to our presenters, Sister Delia and Sister Roxanne. I really appreciate all that you have done today. I myself have learned, and I hope that you have learned something. I'm seeing in the chat, Genevieve saying it's very inspiring. Genevieve, I agree with you. And thank you to all our partners and sisters who are here present. And a very special thank you to all those who have forgot to say thank you to. So we have come to the end. And I'm seeing Kazi or Kazia, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. That is pretty awesome. This presentation, this session that you have joined is pretty awesome. And I'm glad that you have shared that with us. So I really hope to see you again for the St. Francis Canticle Award ceremony, right? So I would now stop the recording and feel free, if you wish, to chat with the sisters as we end. Take care.
Thank you.